ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनर्पितं चरिं चिरात् कारुण्यवतीन् खलौ समर्पयितुमुन्नतुजरसां स्वभक्ति श्रियम्। हरिपुरसुन्दरदुती कदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदय कन्द्रेषु स्फुरतु वै सचिनन्दना। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपीकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। भक्त्या विहीनाय अपराधलक्ष्ये क्षिप्तश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयी तं शरणं प्रपन्न वृन्दे नुमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। All together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Shri Bhajan Rahasya by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We were hearing in our last class, we heard about the four kind of defects in all jivas, which make them titled as conditioned souls. And the four defects are Sarubhram, Asat Trishna, Aparad, and Hide Dorbalya, the weakness of the heart. So we heard in detail in our last class what is the weakness of the heart. Now, continuing further, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explaining Sarubhram, the first defect, is of four types. So as I mentioned this earlier, Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy means nothing one. Everything is 2, 3, 4, 5. There's so many subtitles and subheadings. Yeah. So even the first defect, which is called Sarup Brahm, is of four types. So this shows the philosophy is so deep and there is so much to be, when we churn each and every point, there is so much to understand and so much to speak on. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how detailed he is explaining in his writings. This is his Harikatha. Imagine if Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking Harikatha, what he would have, he's speaking same thing. I mean, whatever he's meditating on, he's writing in his books. So, Shri Bhajan Rahasya, Shri Chaitanya Shikshamrit, and Jaiv Dharma. If anyone read this book, go through this book over and over again, one get the in depth of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. These three books, so important, so much, so many details about Jiva Tattva, Maya Tattva, Krishna Tattva, Radha Tattva, Ras Vichar, Siddhanta, everything in just these three books. Srila Gurudev used to say, he said, I read Jaiv Dharma more than 100 times. And every time I'm reading, I'm finding something new. There's so much details there. So we can imagine from this, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying Surup Brahm, which means one don't know one's constitutional position, one's Sarupa. That defects have four, there are of four types. Swatatve paratatve cha, sadhan sadhan tattva virodhi vishay chaiva tattva brahmas chaturvidha. Meaning here, the condition living entity is subject to four kind of illusions. Sarup Brahm. Sarup means one's form and Brahm means illusion. Illusion about one's form. So what are the four detailed subheadings under Sarup Brahm? He explains Jiva Sarup Brahm. Second is Paratattva Brahm. Third is Sadhe Sadhan Tattva Brahm. And fourth is Bhajan Virodhi Vishay Brahm. We are coming to here details of this. So first is Sarup Brahm, Jiva Sarup Brahm. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in regard to this, is saying Tattu Brahm Chatushay Badai Vishan Swatattve Brahmach Esha Eva Krishna Tattva Brahm. Jiva Sarup Brahm. What is that? The Jiva cannot realize his own transcendental form due to ignorance of it. He has forgotten his real Sarupa, that he is servant of Krishna, because he thinks himself to be the enjoyer. It's so easy to speak this, but it's so difficult to realize this, and this is a complete fact. The Jiva cannot realize his own transcendental form due to ignorance. Jiva has forgotten his real Sarup. How many years back? How many births? Anadikal. Time immemorial, infinite births. From the very point when Jiva glanced over Maya from the Tatastha level, from the marginal level, looked towards Maya, bas, that one mistake is done right in the beginning. And when is the beginning? There is no defined time for that. Understand? There's no defined time. When was the beginning? There's no. We can't define that. Can't measure that. That one mistake, we are still suffering out of this transcendental form. And that's why whenever in Shastras we hear the word the Jiva get mukti or we want mukti. Mukti although means liberation, but mukti also has some positive meaning. Vaishnavas, they don't want mukti. Bhukti, mukti, dure parihar. Throw away bhukti and mukti. Throw away enjoyment of material world and also the desire for liberation. But mukti, what is the ideal meaning of mukti? Ideal definition of mukti. Even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, in the past times of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he transformed the word mukti by uttering a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. When there was conversation between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya uttered one verse from 10th canto. Tattanu kampa susmikshamano munjan evatma kritam vipaka. Hide vag vabube vidadhans namaste. Jiva yo bhakti pade sadai bhak. Very detailed. I'm not going explaining that. We heard many times in the past. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was not able to recite the word mukti. Whereas in Bhagavatam, In this particular verse, the word bhakti is mentioned. Means anyone, okay, let me explain this. Anyone who realize that all activities or all circumstances coming through life is of because of my past deeds, and one should accept this as a blessing of the Lord. If one have this kind of conception and maintain his life standard accordingly, he's a right person, or he can hold the legacy. Legacy is what? Mukti. But Sarvam Bhattacharya said, Mahaprabhu, I cannot even utter this word mukti. You know, by your association, by that higher taste, yesterday that was our topic in the class. Whenever there is a higher taste, whenever one develops higher taste, the lower taste automatically subsides or just goes away. So there are multiple of examples to explain this, but by saying this example is also appropriate to mention here, Sarvam Bhattacharya was following Gyan Marg, very learned personality, scholar, the best scholar in entire country. Yeah. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had conversation with Sarvam Bhattacharya, that means after that association with Mahaprabhu, Sarvam Bhattacharya conception totally changed. And what is the meaning of change of that conception? That means higher association and higher taste. When there is higher taste, there's always lower taste goes away. So with the adoption of that higher taste from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvam Bhattacharya, he said, Mahaprabhu, I can't even utter the word mukti anymore. For that mukti for he was striving before. Now he don't even want to utter the word mukti. Mahaprabhu said, wait a minute. You don't have to change the words of Bhagavatam. Whatever said in Bhagavatam is completely true. Shrimad Bhagavat Praman Amlam Yad Vaishnav Nam Priyam. The best scripture of the Vaishnavas. So you don't have to change the word from Bhagavatam, from mukti to bhakti. Whereas you have to understand what is the meaning of mukti. Bhagavatam first canto explains the definition of mukti is muktir hitva anyatha swa sarupena avasthiti. To get established in one's spiritual identity, sarupa form is called mukti. It's called liberation. To know, to realize one's spiritual form. And because we are not able to recognize that or realize that or perceive that, and that's why this is the defect in us, Sarup Brahm. That we are eternal servant of Krishna. How many minutes and hours of the day we realize this? It's so difficult. So what about pure devotees? They're always absorbed in this concept. I am the servant of Krishna. Ekla Ishva Krishna are sab Bhritya. Only one Ishwar, that is Krishna, or all others are Bhrityas. Now, four Vaishnava Acharyas. Anyone who take initiation in these four sampradayas is considered as bona fide initiation. So our most revered, respectful, worshipable four Vaishnava Acharyas who established Vaishnava Sampradaya. Shri Madhva Brahm Rudra Sanak Sampradaya. Shri Sampradaya coming from Lakshmi ji. Madhva Sampradaya from Brahma ji. Shri Brahma, Vishnu Swami and Nimbaditya. Four Vaishnavacharya means Shri Ramanujacharya, Shri Madhvacharya, Shri Nimbadityacharya and Shri Vishnu Swami. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to prove this, to establish this, that Achinte Bheda Bhed, which is our concept delivered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu want us to understand that what is our philosophy based on is Achinte Bheda Bhed, means oneness and difference. We are one with Krishna, but we also difference is there. But in comparison with oneness and difference, difference is more than oneness. So oneness means we are part and parcel of Krishna. This is abhed, oneness. But there is bhed. Difference is just like sun, the complete sun, and one amongst the multi rays of the sun, one ray, and in that one ray which penetrate through our window in our room, we see so many particles, billion, trillion, infinite particles. We are just one that small infinitesimal particle of that one ray of amongst the infinite rays of the sun. That's the difference. So Achinte Bheda Bhed. Four Vaishnava Acharyas, even though their predecessors and they're the one who established these four sampradayas, Vaishnava sampradayas, but they always accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their worshipable, and they have this mood: we are servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu, in order to establish this Achinte Bheda Bhev, to deliver to this entire universe Krishna Prem and Swabhakti Shriyam, है ना? That's why he introduced Achinta Bheda Bhed. He didn't introduce any other commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Getting a little philosophical, please hear this. He didn't introduce any commentary on Vedanta Sutra, whereas four Vaishnava Acharyas, they introduced Vaishnava commentaries on Vedanta Sutras, well known, and everyone follows the precepts explained by them. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said Srimad Bhagavatam is only our commentary. Srila Gurudev used to say this. Mahaprabhu said Bhagavatam is only the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Artham Brahm Sutranam Bharatarthvaninyam Gayatri Bhasha Rupaso Vedata Parininiham. That's only our Bhasha, only our commentary, Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Bhagavatam Praman Amlam Yad Vaishnanam Priyam. The only Praman, evidence, is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, very interesting. In order to accept the service of his servants, the four Vaishnava Acharyas, and to reconcile the Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. And on the top of that, to make Jivas understand what is their constitutional position, that we are servant of Krishna. It's not that easy to just utter this. Oh yeah, I'm on the process of understanding I'm the servant of Krishna. But what do you know about the philosophy? Philosophy, Siddhanta, is the foundation which builds such a strong bond and understanding. And come to this point of establishing that we are servant of Krishna. Without philosophy can't be possible. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for that reason, he met these four acharyas in Navdeep Dham, which is again described by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, if Bhaktivinoda Thakur would have not come in this world, this world would have bereft of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Means he is the Bhagirath. He is the one who brought the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of philosophy. So wonderful. Sri Mahaprabhu took essential conception from each of the four Vaishnava Acharyas. He took two from all four Acharyas. Means 2 into 4, he took 8 conceptions. So very interesting. Very, very interesting. What he took from Sri Madhva Sampradaya, what he took from Ramanuja Sampradaya, what he took from Vishnu Swami, and what he took from Nimbaditte. Very important to know this. Very important. You know? So Srila Bhakti Thakur is giving us this information. O great personality from Madhva Sampradaya, I will accept two essential principles. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he took from Sri Madhvacharya ji. Please note this if you're making notes, and learn this if you're hearing attentively, and underline this if you have text in front of you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two aspects conception from Sri Madhva Sampradaya. We are Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So what are these two? Refutation of Kevallevad, Kevalle Advaita means exclusive monism. Refuting Mayavad in simple words. है ना? Sri Madhvacharya, he refuted Mayavad philosophy. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took this one concept from Sri Madhvacharya, refuting Kevalle Advaitavad means Mayavad. And second is to serve Krishna's deity form, accepting this as eternal. You know, Mahaprabhu told his associates, six Goswamis, right? What he told? Four orders, na? Discover those lost places in Vrindavan, and then establishing deities, writing books, and Vaishnav Sadachar, conduct of Vaishnav. So among these four, one is establishing deities. So to establish the eternal form of Krishna, true, not that he is formless or he has no qualities. To establish Krishna's eternal form, Mahaprabhu took this another aspect. One is, again, remember this, one is refuting Mayavad. Another second is service to Krishna's eternal form, means deities. These two from Madhvacharya. Then Sri Ramanujacharya, what he took from Ramanujacharya? Mahaprabhu saying, Ramanuja haite ami lai dui sar, ananya bhakti bhakt jane seva ar. Mahaprabhu took from Sri Ramanujacharya, I will accept exclusive devotion and service to the Vaishnavas, devotees. So one is exclusive devotion, means ananya bhakti, one-pointed devotion. Sri Ramanujacharya, in his life history, we read one-pointed devotion, only the service of Lakshmi Narayan. है ना? हाँ, to Lakshmi Narayan. Ananya Bhakti, one-point devotion to Lakshmi Narayan. So, even at the point, he got threatened. Literally, he got threatened by the king of that territory where he was preaching. The king who was Shaivite and who threatened him so many times, if you keep on preaching Lakshmi Narayan, I will kill you. On that point. And in fact, king, he sent his soldiers, his guards, to bring Ramanuja, and I want to punish him, sentenced to death. And to that point. But Sri Ramanujacharya, he never stopped preaching. So one-pointed devotion only to Lakshmi Narayan, not including any other concept in between. So one-pointed night. This is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached. And the Mahaprabhu preached means the associates of Mahaprabhu said the same thing. Aradhya Bhagwan Brajesh Tanyas Tadham Vrindavanam. Our Aradhya, our worshipable is only one. Who is that? Shri Krishna from Vrindavan. Radha Raman Krishna. Bas, that's only our. And in the Shishtakam, first verse, Mahaprabhu clarified this. Gopi Bharatu Pada Kamalayo Das Das Anudas. I am the servant and the servant of the beloved of the gopis. That means one-pointed devotion only. Just one-pointed devotion. This is Mahaprabhu. He took from Sri Ramanujacharya. Not only that, Sri Ramanujacharya, once upon a time, he visited Jagannath Puri temple and he saw some flaws there. The pujaris of the servants of Jagannath, they're not bona fide. They're not doing bona fide service. I mean, yeah. They're wearing cloths with starch. Whereas while serving the deities, one is not supposed to wear cloths with starch. That is contaminated. That's called contamination. It's not pure. Starch is not pure. So while he objected there, Shri Jagannath and Baldev Prabhu appeared in his dream and overnight shifted him, throwed him out from Puri territory, from Jagannath Puri, throwed him to South India. Imagine, such big Acharya, Sri Ramanujacharya. Because of his seeing flaws in that, in the servants of Lord Jagannath. This shows so many, from so many areas, that Lord Jagannath is so fond of his servants, no matter what they do. He's so possessive about his servants, no matter what they do. And Sri Ramanujacharya, what he's saying is according to scriptures. No one is supposed to worship, and that to Lord Jagannath, the famous temple amongst the four dhams. One is so important, Jagannath Puri Dham. And servants wearing this. Shri Jagannath and Baldev appeared in dream and took, along with his bed, took him and threw him to South India. Go out from here. How dare you see some faults in my servants? Shri Ramanuja Acharya, when he woke up in the morning, he found himself in a different territory. Where I am? Where is this place? And he saw Shivalinga. And Sri Sampradaya followers, Sri Ramanujacharya, Sri Sampradaya followers, they never even enter Shiva temple. What to speak of worship Shiva temple? Not even step in Shiva temple. They were that strong, one-pointed only. Understand? They enter, and Ramanujacharya saw, oh, Shivalinga, and many details. Yeah. So, anyway, I don't want to go into details. But Mahaprabhu took this exclusive devotion to Brajendra Nandan Krishna, not only Krishna, because there's Devki Nandan Krishna, there's Mathuresh Krishna, yeah, but Brajendra Nandan Krishna, Aradhya Bhagwan Brajesh Chaitanya. Yes. And then this is one point. And the other aspect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, other concept he took from Ramanuja Sampradaya is service to the devotees. Means Vaishnav Seva. If you read the life history of Sri Ramanujacharya, your heart melt. And Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj, he was very fond of speaking so many details of Sri Ramanujacharya. And getting from him, I repeat a lot in my speech, in my lectures. Hearing from him. Because idol of Vaishnav Seva, Sri Ramanujacharya. So this Mahaprabhu took from Sri Ramanujacharya. So from Madhvacharya, again, you want to learn this. Refuting Mayavad. Second is serving Krishna, understanding the eternal form of Krishna. Sakar Roop, not Nirakar, not formless Krishna. Yeah. And from Sri Ramanujacharya, exclusive devotion, Ananya Bhakti, and service to the devotees. Excuse me. Then, two essential elements from Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. Vishnu haite dui sar karibe svikar, todiye sarvasva bhav rag marg ar. Wonderful. From Vishnu Swami, I will accept the sentiment that Bhagwan Krishna alone is my everything. Todya Sarvasva Bhav. Todya Sarvasva Bhav means Krishna is mine. So there are two ways to say, to express one's love. One is called Tadya Bhav and other is called Madhya Bhav. Chandravali has Tadya Bhav. Chandravali says, Krishna, I'm yours. Yes, this is called Chandravali, Tadya Bhav. And this is compared by Rup Goswami as Grit Sneha, ghee like. Ghee is not very palatable if we just eat with a spoon. Ghee needs some spice. I don't think so anyone can eat ghee like this. So this is the mood of Chandravali. Krishna, I'm yours. Whereas Radharani mood is Madhya Bhav. And that is, Krishna, you are mine. And this, the word Rup Goswami used to define that is called Madhu Sneha. Madhu Sneha means like Madhu, like honey. Madhu Sneha, honey like. Why honey like? Because honey can be eaten like this without any spicing, without any, what do you call, uh, without any support. Yes. But ghee cannot be like that. So Madhu Sneha is Radharani's mood. Madhu Sneha, like honey. So from Vishnu Swami, I'll accept the sentiment that Bhagwan Shri Krishna alone is my everything. And the other point is the path of spontaneous devotion, Rag Marg, Raganuga Bhakti, from Vishnu Swami. Why we are hearing this today? If we understand this, it gives a clear understanding of what is my constitutional position, what is my sadhan, means practice, and who is my worshipable. Because we don't know, people don't know in detail, they get Sarup Brahm. So Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. Shri Krishna, he came to give what? Not Vedi Bhakti, not to kill demons, not to establish dharma. He came for this reason, to show Rag Marg, to give Rag Bhakti, spontaneous devotion, spontaneous, which is not arranged, which just happen. That's called spontaneous. Oh, spontaneously accident happened. Spontaneously friendship happened. It was not arranged, it was not planned, it just happened. That's called Rag Marg, Rag Bhakti. What is that meaning? Radharani and all the Sakhis, they don't even know Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. They don't know Krishna is Bhagwan. And they also don't want to hear. Exactly. You're right. They don't want to even hear and they don't believe this. Why they love Krishna? Why they love Krishna? It's just spontaneous. It's just spontaneous. There is no any condition that Krishna, you look beautiful in daylight and don't look beautiful in nighttime. Or you look beautiful in nighttime, you don't look beautiful in the daytime. So it's not just because of the beauty of Krishna they got attracted to Krishna. Although it's beautiful, no doubt. The beauty is even offense to say Krishna is beautiful. One Vaishnava Acharya was explaining this. It's even offense to say Krishna is beautiful. That means if we say Krishna is beautiful, that means there is someone else also who is beautiful. The proper way saying is beauty has taken shelter of Krishna. Beauty get beautified to get along with Krishna. Beauty get beautified. So Krishna is not beautiful. Beauty has taken shelter of Krishna. The Bhagavata has taken shelter of Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagwan Sayam, as it mentioned in Bhagavatam, that means the Bhagavata, the Lordship has taken shelter of Lord, means Krishna. So, when the love is spontaneous, without anything being arranged, it just happened, that's called Rag Bhakti. This word Mahaprabhu took from Vishnu Swami. Now, the last one, two essential conceptions from Shri Nimbaditya Sampradaya. Toma haite lave ami, dui mahasar, ekant radha dasya ashre, gopi bhav ar. From your Sampradaya, means from the line of Nimbaditya, Mahaprabhu said, I will accept two supremely essential principles. One is exclusively taken shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, Ekant Radhika Ashraya. Mahaprabhu took this from whom? Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, from Nimbaditya. You see? Exclusive. Radha Ekant Ashraya. And other point is the sentiment of the gopis. Gopi Bhav. These two concepts Mahaprabhu got from Nimbaditya. So this is what our acharyas are inspiring us to follow. Radha Ekant Ashraya and sentiments of the gopis. Then, considering the sentiment Krishna alone is my everything and Raga Bhakti, service to the Vaishnavas, and Ananya Bhakti, one-pointed Bhakti, refuting Mayavad and considering the deities, service to the deities are eternal. This is what we are following. Mahaprabhu, he consolidate two concepts from every acharya and he made Achintya Bheda Bhed. Wonderful philosophy. So what our acharyas are inspiring, Radha Ekant Ashraya and Gopi Bhav. Gopi Bhav. The sannyasis in our sampradaya are given Gopi Bhava mantra at the time of sannyas to develop that mood of the sentiment of gopis, to give up the Purush Bhav, the enjoyer mood, and develop the Gopi Bhav. And Gopi Bhav means what? Gopi Bhav means what? Gopi Bhav means serving Krishna with everything, with the mood sentiments, with complete Sarvanga Seva, with all the limbs. This Gopi Bhav. This is the mantra given. The sentiment is given through that mantra at the time of sannyas. Only sannyasis get this Gopi Bhav mantra. So, although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu following Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, from Brahmaji to Naraji to Vedvyaji and then Madhvacharyaji. From Madhvacharyaji, then Sri Madhavendra Puripad. So here a stream goes little, different direction from Sri Madhavendra Puripad. And this is what we are following. So our Sampradaya, even though Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two sentiments, conception from every Acharya, but specifically following Shri Madhavendra Puri path, because three personalities only and only can relish that highest limit of love, that Krishna Prem. Three personalities only. And Krishna is not there in these three personalities. One is Radharani. Secondly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, but with the sentiment of Radharani. And the third, Sri Madhavendra Puri path. No one else, no one else, and no one else beyond, besides these three personalities, tasting this. Unna tujal ras. So, Sri Madhavendra Puri path, in his final pastimes, is lamenting in separation from Krishna, but with the mood of Radharani. And he uttered one verse, which is so famous in our sampradaya. Aye deen dyard nath, he mathura nath, kadav lokash. Hidem tav avlok kataram, dait bhramati kim karom me hum. Oh, the Lord of Mathura, oh Mathura Nath, where are you? Where are you? My heart burst to have your darshan. Oh, where are you? Kim karom me hum. What shall I do? Kim karom me hum. Focus on these words. What shall I do? What shall I do? What shall I do to have you? This Kim karom me hum is called Kinkari Bhav, which is even beyond Gopi Bhav. This is our sampradaya. Kinkari Bhav is Manjari Bhav, which is even beyond Gopi Bhav. So Mahaprabhu is not giving exclusively that Gopi Bhav, but he came to give that Swabhakti Shriyam, which is called Manjari Bhav. And because Manjaris, those maid servants of Radharani, Radharani addressed them also as Sakhi, my girlfriend, Sakhi. That's why they are also considered as Gopi Bhav. Whereas Manjaris, the service of Manjaris are selfless in nature and they never have any desire to be with Krishna alone. They always want the union of Radha Krishna together. A step further than Gopi Bhav is Manjari Bhav. Gopi Bharatu Pada Kamalayo Das Das Anudas. So Kim Karom Me Hum, Kim Karom Me Hum. What shall I do? What shall I do? That's called Kinkari Bhav. So Mahaprabhu is giving this, and Sri Madhvacharya ji is the, I can say, the Acharya of Gaudiya Sampradaya, means the founder of Gaudiya Sampradaya. And following the footsteps of Sri Madhvacharya ji, Sri Madhavendra Puri Pad, then Sri Ishwar Puri Pad, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Goswamis, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This is our Guru Parampara. A stream get changed from that line from Madhvacharya ji to Sri Madhavendra Puri Pad. Exclusive shelter of Shri Radharani, Gopi Bhav, and a step ahead Gopi Bhav is the Manjari Bhav. This is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. The Manjari Bhav, the beauty of that. So Bhakti Shriyam. This is the constitutional position of the Jiva. Sarup Brahm. What is my Sarup? This is actually our Sarup. And this is our bhajan. To attain what? Manjari Bhav. That's the perfection of Jiva. That's the perfection of the Jiva. And Srila Gurudev used to comment saying, even though Jiva is very small, but the potency in the Jiva is so strong and so high, can achieve Manjari Bhav, to maid servant of Radharani. So high. You know? One devotee asked the question, What happens to those who already got established in their spiritual form? Can they become manjaris? Even if they hear the 10th canto Bhagavatam, or even if they hear Radha Krishna pastimes. So I say, whom you want to refer? He said, let's say Prahlad Maharaj. Let's say Prahlad Maharaj. If Prahlad Maharaj come across Gaudiya Vaishnavas, means pure devotee, I mean, the following the line of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sorry, and here Radha Krishna pastime, may understand Manjari Bhav is topmost. Can he attain that? No. He fixed in that. He can't switch over. Hanumanji, Hanumanji, if he's hearing Radha Krishna pastime, even if he desire to become a gopi, can he become a gopi? No. He cannot become a gopi. So, once upon a time, with so much emotions and absorbed in the Siddhanta, Srila Gurudev was speaking Bhagavatam in Mathura Math years back, and he commented on this. He said, in one sense, even though we are not established as Prahlad Maharaj or as Hanuman or as, and due respect to all those dear associates and servants of the Lord. So even though we are not perfect, we didn't got perfection of that sort, still we are in a very favorable and high position. It's good we are not established in that, because there's a big possibility, and there is a possibility that whenever we get perfection to become a maid servant of Radharani. Even the process is getting delayed, but still we are in the process and in the right process. Very bold statement. Only Acharya can give this statement. Even though there is delays, but that delays is of very good cause. If we get established as Hanumanji, bas, we cannot enter in that domain to become maid servant of Radharani. Rukmani Satyabhama in Dwarika, they know the glories of Radharani, and they pray the dust from the lotus feet of Radharani. And they also see how Krishna is weeping and crying, sleeping next to his wives, but uttering Radhe, Radhe and crying and weeping. They understand. But can they become the maid servant of Radharani? They're glorifying, they understand. But even then, they cannot become, because their Sarup is fixed. Understand? As being wife of Krishna. Similarly, Miraji, always singing and chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Contemporary of Shri Rup Goswami Pad, not much time, 500 years back, Miraji. Oh, say 400 years back, sorry. She's in love with Krishna. Her husband is against her, even offered poison. But even though Miraji was in Vrindavan and in search for Krishna, wandering here and there, wants Krishna, but did she attain Krishna in Vrindavan? No. She met Shri Rup Goswami Pad. Srila Gurudev used to explain this. She met Jeev Goswami, disciple of Shri Rup Goswami, and she requested Jeev Goswami, I heard your Gurudev, means Rup Goswami, is the topmost Vaishnava. I want to have some dialogue with him. And Jeev Goswami Pad, when he came to his Guru Maharaj, Shri Rup Goswami Pad, asking permission, that there's one lady, very devotional, Meera, she wanted to see you. Rup Goswami Pad said, I don't want to see the face of any woman. Jeev Goswami Pad came back with this answer, and Meera ji, when she heard this, she said, oh, I thought there is only one Purusha. Only one Purusha in Vrindavan, that is Krishna. Who is this another Purusha? Because we all are Prakriti. When Jeev Goswami Pad came back with this answer, Rup Goswami found Meera is appropriate candidate to have some conversation because ordinary person cannot give this statement. Anyhow, Meera ji, when she spoke to Rup Goswami Pad, asking that why I'm not getting Krishna here in Vrindavan, I'm searching for Krishna, I'm in love with Krishna. Understanding what Meera Swarup is and her sentiments are, Sri Rup Goswami Pad said, you can't get Krishna in Vrindavan because your mood is not Vrindavan mood. Your mood is Swakya mood, like queens of Krishna in Dwarika. So you must go to Dwarika. If you go Dwarika, then very soon you'll get Krishna. And this happened. She came to Dwarika and she merged into Dwarikadesh because that Sarupa is got fixed. She has moved like the queens of Dwarika, not the gopis. So Surup Brahm, the Jiva cannot realize his own transcendental form due to ignorance of it. Jiva Sarup hai Krishner Nitya Das. So everyone is Das of Krishna. Uddhav ji is also Das of Krishna. And there's so many examples. They are Das of Krishna. But specifically, what our Acharya is explaining, what kind of Das? Mahaprabhu told us, Gopi Bharatu Pad Kamalayo Das Das Anudas. King Kulshekhar, in his prayers, is saying, Mad Janmam Phalam Idam Madhukaita Bare, Mad Prathna Mad Anugrah Esha Eva. Tad Bhritya Bhritya Paricharaka, Bhritya Bhritya, Bhritasya Bhritya Itimam Smara Lokanath. King Kulshekhar from South India. He's saying, Oh Lord, by seeing my humble services to you, by seeing my humble services to you, if you want to grant me some benediction, some boon, then I would like to have something very important from you, and that is Bhritya Bhritya Paricharaka, Bhritya Bhritya, servant of the servant, servant of the servant, servant of the servant. But Mahaprabhu teaching us very specifically, what servant? Gopi Bharatu Pad Kamalayo Das Das Anudas. The beloved of the gopis, Krishna. Not Krishna of Dasyaras, served by Dasya, not Krishna of Sakhe, Sridham Subal, not Krishna from Vatsalya, but only Krishna in Madhur Ras, Gopi Bharatu Pada Kamalayo, Das Das Anudas. That Krishna is beloved of the gopis, beloved of Radharani. That one pointedness, not any deviation from there. That one pointedness, this is Gaudiya Vaishnava. Das Anudas, to become Radha Ekant Ashraya. To accept the lotus feet of Radharani as only whole soul mission of my life. And Gaudiya Guru Vargas, Acharyas, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, when he was being asked by Sri Radharani, Oh Raghunath, come, I'll make you my Sakhi. With folded hands, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami saying no to Radharani. Because there is so much dedication to Radharani. For Krishna, Raghunath Das Goswami immediately can say no. But with Radharani, with folded hands, with prayer saying, Sakhe tumam, namastu namastu nityam, dasyas tumam, rasastu rasastu satyam. All glories and respect to your Sakhi Pad, the position of becoming your Sakhi. I'm not qualified for that. What do you want then? Dasyas tumam karpan, dasyas tumam rasastu rasastu satyam. I want to only become and only and only and only. How many onlys you can apply there? To become your maid servant. That's our actually constitutional position. Jive Swarup hai Krishner Nitya Das, the eternal servant of Krishna. But which Krishna specifically? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as a guardian, as a teacher to teach us specifically only this. Oh, only this, Radha Das. That's our goal. Very long journey to achieve. So we are fortunate we are in this line. Oh, and we are hearing this Srila Bhakti Thakur's insight of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. All glories and all glories to Srila Bhakti Thakur, who's giving us such high moods and giving all this information. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Srila Bhakti Thakur ki jai. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaur Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow, Tuesday, tomorrow going to be Hindi class. Wednesday, we'll see you again in English class. Hare Krishna.